Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. It's the summer holidays.
Yes, it is. And we've been a little bit remiss on these videos over the last few weeks, but hey, we've earned it.
We have earned it. Yeah.
And I'm in a different environment today. I'm overseas. Sounds more exotic than it is, but we'll leave
I
it at
feel
that.
like I'm overseas because I'm just sweating buckets. It's so muddy.
Yeah, where I am overseas, it's less humid, although there is a lot of moisture in the air, but we call that rain. So that's good. Right, okay, so we'll have a little look at what's to come, the season ahead. I thought we'd start off by looking over the current dealings so far. If I made a quick list before before coming online. The outs, first of all, they seem to be accelerating a little bit this week, which is absolutely crucial, I think. In no particular order, we've Leno looks like £8 million to Fulham is pretty much signed and sealed. We can talk about the fee there. I see people quite up in arms about £8 million, and I just think 30-year-old goalkeeper, yeah, it's quite young for a keeper. Final year of his contract. No other club was after him, so there was no chance of a bidding war. £8 million, I think, yeah, take it. It could have been 12 million perhaps, but 8 million is done. Torreira looks like he's finally going to get his wish to play for Galatasaray, because he's always talked about wanting to play in Turkey. So that looks like pretty far along as well, the journalists that are reporting that, and that's 5.5 million, which is
again, we're both good examples where they are good enough to start for other teams elsewhere, and but they must be on a fair whack.
Yeah.
In terms of wage bill, Leno was a German international at one point.
Well, he still hopes to get that back. He still hopes to be in the squad.
So I think for all concerned, I quibbling over a few million here and there, I just think bigger picture, slim down the squad to the players that you want and who want to be there.
No, absolutely. And with Torreira, like everybody knows he didn't want to stay at Arsenal. So why would a club come in and offer a not low ball? It's. Yeah. We're clearly going to shift him. We're not going to stand in his way, no matter who comes in. And 5.5 million. I think someone went through Sven Mislintat's 7 purchases or 8 purchases, and they're now all gone. And I think they cost us 126 million, and we've recouped 20 million from, or 26 million from them. So people talked about how he was a great addition to the backroom staff, and yet the facts don't support that.
No.
And I'm a lot happier about, for example, like Tavares has gone to Marseille on loan. Did you read about his debut?
No.
He signed in the morning and he came on, and within 5 minutes he got sent off. VAR overturned the sending off, and he went on and played a blinder, and the crowd helped him straight away. And I actually think there's a really good player in there. It's just, hopefully a season in Marseille for him will have the same impact on him that it has had on Saliba, who, to all accounts, is just the beast and Rolls Royce of a centre-back at the moment, to the extent that Ben White is not going to start. He's been shoved out to the right-back position at the moment. But anyway, we'll get on to that. So, Leno, Torreira, Guendouzi obviously gone for 9 million, and then the loan dealings, and I might have missed people out here, so shout out if I have. Balogun's just gone to Reims on loan, which is a good, I think they finished 9th in League last season, but he's guaranteed playing time, and I think that will serve him really well. Okonkwo's gone to Crewe, and Tavares gone to Marseille. I've just stuck with the first team squad. I know a couple of other youngsters have gone out on loan as well to other places. And Okonkwo played his first game in the for Crewe at the weekend, and they kept a clean sheet. So he did quite well. We've got another centre back we've got from America who's gone on loan to Birmingham. He had a good start. And then the three players I've got down with the question mark, and we'll be looking to shift: Bellerin, Mari, and Pepe. Reece Nelson has already been told that he's not been loaned out this season, that they want to keep him. Now, I'm wondering, is that until they get whoever they wanted to get as a plan B after Rafinha, possibly? I don't know. Because you don't go all in for Rafinha and that player type without having a plan B. Really, it's like, if he's that crucial to how you want to set up, and I was really on board with that, then surely it's not just Rafinha or bust. But we don't know. I trust that they know what they're doing now. It's
So you're thinking Nelson would be a stopgap, assuming either Nelson doesn't step up or someone else comes along.
Yeah, exactly. And if someone else comes along in the next 3 weeks, then you can imagine that Reece Nelson will be out on loan again to a Premier League. I'd like to see him go to a Premier League team, and test it. His second half of his season in Holland was better than his first half, but he didn't really pull up any trees by all accounts. So, and there is a talented player in there somewhere, but again, he's not kicked on like Saka and Smith Rowe have, or Martinelli has.
Maitland-Niles?
Oh yeah, there you go. Maitland-Niles. I'm adding him to my haven't heard.
I only know about Maitland-Niles because I don't know if you got it as a season ticket holder, but you got a link to a video from Arteta saying thank you because we'd sold out.
I didn't click it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So at the end of, he does a big welcome and a thank you and all this, that, and the other, and he says that, and now the players want to say their thanks, and they all come over and they're all clapping and whooping and saying thank you, and there's Maitland-Niles front and centre, like giving it the big one, and you're like, okay, well, I've forgotten he was kind of there, really.
Yeah, that's because I can't see him anywhere near the starting 11.
Where does he play?
No, but like right back's got 3 players ahead of him. Central midfield, we got the rumours with the links with Tielemans have resurfaced again today, and there's
Xhaka and Partey are first choice,
and then Lokonga is the first backup with Elneny. So, and if we get a player in like Tielemans, then he's even further away from the first 11. I mean, he blew it himself.
Zinchenko can even play central.
Yes, of course. And I think Zinchenko has been earmarked more for that than left back, because I think Tierney plays because he's.
But Tierney fit.
No, of course, there's a caveat there. Yes, he's not fit. Although he's back training, I don't think we've got anyone unavailable for Friday. In terms of who aren't training, Vieira is still, like, he's only just started resumed training with the first team, so he's a couple of weeks away from making an appearance, I would imagine. But we can name 9 subs this season and make 5 changes, so there will be more scope for these players' involvement potentially. So Bellerin is going to go, you'd imagine. Mari has been linked with another club now, I can't remember who they are. Pepe, the Newcastle links with Pepe seem to be re-emerging again. I don't know. Well,
I'd only be surprised because Eddie Howe's manager. And Eddie Howe, people associate him with the Arsenal job because he likes his teams to play quickly with the ball on deck, the passing, moving, Wenger-esque football, I suppose, is the neatest way to put it. But he also expected a lot of high energy and work ethic, and I don't know if Pepe, he's got this kind of laissez-faire attitude on the pitch, and where does he fit into that? It's a weird one.
Yeah, I can't see many suitors for him. And if Newcastle, want to throw 25 million quid at him, then
I think we should bite their hand off.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think I think he's a busted flush with Arteta. I think Arteta really talked him up last season, but the actions didn't kind of reinforce that. And again, I see this quite a lot. I do think there's a decent player in there, not £72 million worth of player, but he scored 16 goals the season before for us, which is not a too shabby return, considering his kind of diminished playing time as well when held up against others. But he has got Saka in front of him, and Rafinha was, to all intents and purposes, was going to be another position that would kind of push him further away. So Pepe possibly. So it looks like we're shifting a bit of the deadwood, if you like, with four players still to go: Bellerin, Mari, Pepe, and Maitland-Niles. And there's a question mark over a couple of those, but two of them are definitely going: Bellerin and Mari. Then the ins so far, I've written 5 ins, and then Nketiah as because we all thought he was gone. So he's the kind of a sixth almost, like a new signing, that classic. But there's the American keeper Turner. There's Marquinhos, the kind of future-proofed Brazilian. Then there's then there's Vieira. He's obviously a very waif-like physique, but his stats second half of the season in Portugal were fantastic. We have spent a lot of money on him and had tracked him for a year. He's quite an exciting unknown, but he's not a starter in the first game.
And even if he's that's probably fit. Good, because he won't be expected to hit the ground running.
And he's come in at a brilliant time. Everyone's focus is on Jesus, so he's Vieira's kind of floating in under the radar even more so. And his first game should be like Europa League. His first start should be Europa League. He might get 10-15 minutes in some of the Premier League games, depending on how they're going prior to that. So Vieira's going, and then the two City players, Zinchenko and Jesus. And Jesus looks like he's been an Arsenal player for years, and that's quite nice. And I'm nervous about putting too much weight into pre-season, but we have been on fire. So Palace are going to stick it up as some Friday, and it'll be doom and gloom again.
I fully expect our bubble to be burst on Friday. I can see a 1-1 draw incoming. Totally.
That's better than last year.
Well, yeah.
Both against Palace and the first game of the season. So that's progress, that is.
Well, I'll take it. It won't feel like it, but I'll take it.
I know this is terrible to say. I would be gutted with the 1-1 draw.
Would you really?
I would. We have to win this game. I just think, it's so important for the momentum that we've built over pre-season. People have forgot, and I'll go back to my mate's text in a minute. He sent me. People have forgot about last season's capitulation to some degree. There is a lot of positivity surrounding the club.
There is, yes, but I can undermine any argument about positivity and pre-season by reminding everyone and you that when Spurs signed Darren Bent for whatever it was a pretty high fee at the time, he scored 9 goals in pre-season for Tottenham, and then when the season started properly, he went something like 30 games without scoring a goal. Pre-season means nothing. Can
I also say, just to reinforce your rather bleak, pessimistic Eeyore,
I'm not.
the Invincibles didn't win a pre-season game.
Exactly.
So there you go. So let's expect. So I consider myself converted to the dark side.
It's just that, of course, there should be optimism, because even with falling short last season, I don't think it was. We kept using that phrase rationality. If we look back, we weren't really expected to be vying for the top 4, and I think of all the teams, Man United will probably be kicking themselves most because, you know, Spurs without Kane and Son are not a top 4 team, and we didn't look like a top 4 side, top 4 squad anyway. It was disappointing the way it unfolded, but there was so much credit built from the fact that we have a young squad.
Yep.
We have a manager who's making all the right noise and seems to have the right kind of values, at least. Yeah, all right, you know, tactically and, you know, within a game, you know, he's still learning the same way, you know, every new manager is. But there's so much optimism, and a big sign of that is, as you know, although I'm a season ticket holder, I get a supporters club coach from Norfolk to the games, and last season, most of the time we were on a minibus because actually, especially the way the season started, the interest did drop. Well, I'm already getting emails, even just this evening, saying that, you know, the first few games back, we've got a coach again, and then pretty much full. People are engaged again and plugged in and up for this. And pre-season has been great, and it's been really positive, and the signings look great, and everyone seems very happy. However, we haven't learned anything, I don't think, about this team, and we won't until there's points on the line. And that's why Friday is going to be so fascinating.
No, I agree. I haven't watched a single minute of pre-season. So
I've seen some of the highlights, and
I've seen the goals. But as they were happening, I haven't watched any of it as well.
No, neither have I. Yeah.
So, and again, look, you have to. It's nice to feel nice, you know.
Yes.
So I'm running with it because I know all too well it will not last.
Yeah.
So bearing in mind they're the outs and they're the ins so far. What else would you like to see happen? Let's do the ins. We know the outs. The outs are the Bellerin, Mari, Pepe, Maitland-Niles. Let's assume that all 4 of those will go. Who would you like to see in by September 1st?
I've been crying out for a central midfielder, either to compete with Partey and Xhaka, or even maybe usurp their position, because I feel Xhaka and Partey, when they're both fit and on form, work well together. But, you know, either of them on their own or not quite at the races, you know, leaves us with a bit of a hole in midfield. So
does Zinchenko change that at all?
Well, I mean, I don't really know, because I've only seen him for City as a fullback, really. You know, I'm sure he did play games in central midfield.
Well, for Ukraine he does, and he dominates.
I mean, that comes down then to just my ignorance, because, you know, I don't watch a lot of Ukraine international.
Apparently, he was man of the match against Scotland in that crucial.
Look, he's a quality player and so versatile that I wouldn't have any problem with him, you know, sitting in midfield. But someone whose USP is that role, be it, you know, deep lying defending or linking play or box to box or even an attacking midfielder, maybe.
Okay, so I've heard. Obviously, the Tielemans rumor is real. It's real. You know, he's basically waiting for us to make an offer that Leicester accepts. I'm wondering, is the delay not maybe twofold? One, to hammer down the price from Leicester. Now, Leicester are hemorrhaging players. Fofana, Chelsea, Schmeichel's gone. Maddison has been the subject of 2 bids by Newcastle. It's, you know, Leicester are in a spot of bother. So
I find the Schmeichel going to Nice really surprising.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm so surprised by that, but it really threw me. I assumed he would be there forever.
Yeah, you know, Ramsey's gone to Nice as well now.
Okay.
Aaron Ramsey, because he was released from his contract by Juve, and he's rocked up in Nice.
So I know there's money behind them, but then I don't know.
It's also a nice place to live.
I just found it so odd, like Schmeichel going to Nice. Like, I thought Rodgers would be backed and that Leicester might, sort of come again.
Yeah. So I also heard somewhere, and I have no idea where I read this, but that the push for Rafinha had a knock-on effect on this Tillemans thing. It was
Right.
that somebody suggested that Saka could actually play this left 8 role, that he's that good that he would become more that deeper lying connection between defence, midfield, attack. I mean, he's played every position on the pitch pretty much, bar centre back. You know, why couldn't he do that? He's, you know, he's certainly got the skill. He's certainly got the discipline for it. Is he robust enough? Well, he gets hacked every game, and he still plays more than anybody else. So I don't know. So it just would have, because I know the Rafinha thing was, it took a lot of Arsenal fans, what took me certainly by surprise, and I didn't understand the logic behind it, but that added a little bit of another layer to it. That kind of, well, maybe it had. There was a connection, and again, you wouldn't put it past Arteta and his staff to have kind of plotted that as a possible scenario as well. You buy into the team another goal scoring pivot like Rafinha and assist without losing Saka in your starting 11. You're making yourself far more dangerous and far more, multiple points of attack. Martinelli seems to have kind of firmed up that left front 3 position for the time being. He's pretty much the last 2 games in pre-season, Chelsea and Sevilla. I think the team that started both those games is the team that will start on Friday night. So who else, apart from, we'll get on to the Friday night in a minute, but Tillemans, so a central midfielder, have you got any names apart from Tillemans?
No, not especially. And I haven't seen any rumours throwing anyone up particularly, but I don't know. You have to kind of, a lot of these moves are dependent. It's getting later on as the season draws, where one move relies on another, and so on and so forth.
It also requires us to shift a lot of the players on.
Yeah.
We've got a bloated squad as it is now.
Exactly.
We need that trimming down.
I mean, in terms of other players that have moved, obviously, Bissouma, someone we were interested in, has ended up at Spurs, and Martinez, the guy from Ajax, has ended up at United.
As a centre back, you should look at go online and search the memes. They're hilarious.
Right.
They're like really funny about him arriving at Old Trafford. And I'll just say, like, and I'm not being heightist here. I'm 5'7" on a good day. He's 5'9" centre back in the Premier League, and so the memes are centred on that, and they are hysterical. They're really funny, and it's not Arsenal fans; it's other fans. But they paid 57 million quid for him.
Well, and they'll always have the power to do that. That's the problem, isn't it?
That's a lot.
We're in a different market to them.
I mean, that's a lot, for sure. And Zinchenko, I think, is obviously warrants the Martinez redundant anyway, because he covers left back. We don't need a cover at centre back, but we do need a cover at left back and that left central midfield role. And Zinchenko ticks that box that Martinez ticks as well. What about Nassi? I think that we are light up front. I think. Yeah, we've got Jesus, and I think that's really good. And Eddie looks like he's a different player. He had a run of games, and he really does look like. And I'm delighted he actually had the strength of character and the courage to stay. It would have been a lot easier for him to go to, I don't know, a West Ham, a Palace, a club, a lower Premier League club than a top 6 club, but he didn't. He decided he's going to wait and fight for his place. He knows he's not going to start. He knows. I'm sure the conversations his team had. They knew that Jesus was coming in.
Did they? I wonder if he was sold a bit of a dummy.
No.
No,
no, not at all. But Jesus was rumoured from way back. Before Nketiah signed his contract, those rumours were there. But we were always going to buy a striker. We're always going to buy a striker. We that was the one position we were guaranteed to make a big. We bid for Vlahovic in January, so Nketiah knew that there was a striker coming in, and still I think that says a lot about his character as well, and his confidence as well, and his self-belief. Like, he's backing himself. And to be fair, his performances on the pitch back that up when given a run of games. So, and he could play with Jesus as well. But that's it though. If Jesus gets injured and we are just Nketiah up front, Martinelli for me isn't a striker. He needs to improve his strike rate. He needs to. I think he causes chaos and he's relentless. And I think his energy levels are brilliant. And I would have him in the starting 11 against Palace on Friday, definitely. And I think Jesus offers the same. And Saka is similar as well. So I think we've got a high energy front three there. And with pretty decent backup in Smith Rowe off the bench and Vieira when he's fit. And Eddie as well. But don't you think we're a little bit short of a striker?
Sure. And again, it's a different. We're probably missing a different kind of striker as well. Someone who either is maybe a little bit better with their back to goal, or someone who's more of a target person. Because Jesus and Nketiah will run in behind and run the channels, all day long, but they're doing a similar kind of job. Whereas someone, coming short. To bring in Saka and Martinelli, or actually at the end of endless crosses from Tierney.
Yeah.
That's who we're missing.
Jesus actually does a lot of link-up play. He offers more. He actually offers more of the hybrids, Lacazette and Aubameyang. There was one of the goals he got. He actually linked it up to begin with, and then got on the end of it. And Arsenal Twitter went into meltdown, thinking, "We have a striker who can do both. What is this madness before our very eyes?" And so he can do that. I do think that with Cedric, like another player further removed from right back, the number of crosses will decrease this season. But yeah, we don't have a big, Jesus isn't tall. I don't know, is he 5'9", 5'10"? He's not. He's physically strong and he's robust and he's Premier League proven. So that's not. I've no issues with his strength in that sense. And Eddie, similar physique probably. A little bit lighter, perhaps. So we don't have that Dominic Calvert-Lewin presence up front who can be the target man, but can link up the play and drop deep as well, and bring in everybody else. But yeah, I think there's this guy, the Dutch guy, Gakpo. I can't remember his name. Cody's his first name. That was easy for me to remember. For Feyenoord, I think, and he's a right winger, but he can also dovetail as a number 9 as well. But he's young and he's more of a last summer purchase than a this summer purchase. But I don't know, it's kind of a name that's linked quite a lot and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. So I don't know. So kind of watch this space and see who we shift before, because we've got Pepe there. We've got our record signing there as well. It's almost a madness to be dismissing him and talking about, spending a lot of money on a Pepe replacement. I don't know. It seems a bit, I don't know, odd.
But unless Pepe's attitude changes or his confidence changes, then I'm not sure what he's going to offer that we can really use.
No, I agree. It's a shame, but it just goes back to someone said that we're rubbish at selling players. We're not. We're rubbish. We were rubbish at buying players. Unai Emery asked for a what was it? A right-footed left winger, and they bought a left-footed right winger. He wanted Zaha.
He wanted Zaha, yeah, exactly.
They bought him Pepe, and it's like that's why we're stuck with it. Zaha would be great. It would have been great for us. But Zaha is that goal threat, that kind of. I'd have him now as well. I just don't think he's going to be cheap enough for us. But I would have him now. I don't know about his injury record now as he's getting a bit older, and he's obviously taken a bit of a beating down the years in the fullbacks and centre backs. But so strike. I mean, so who would you be happy? I mean, if we don't sign anyone, are you happy? Has it been a good transfer window? Give it a grade out of 10.
It's a 7 or an 8. I think it's pretty good. There's a couple of players for the future in Marquinhos and Vieira, and I don't think there's any denying the quality and the pedigree of Zinchenko and Gabriel. What's really interesting is Saliba, how Saliba will do, because it feels like there's been so much build-up, and he's promised so much that it would be nice to see how that works.
We haven't conceded a goal whilst he's been on the pitch yet.
Pre-season.
Yeah, no. No. Okay, yes to that, but also he did get into the team of the year in the last season. He is now a French international. The guy has something about him, and he's got 2 years left on his contract, and he's not signing another one. And I wouldn't if I was him either. I'd wait and see how much play time I got this season before. But I think he'll start against Palace.
Wow.
Don't you?
I have no idea. Like I say, I haven't followed pre-season close enough because I've been too busy and don't put a huge amount of stock in it. But yeah, the fact that he is starting. Okay,
give me your starting. Everyone's fit. Give me your starting 11 against Palace.
Well, Ramsdale's in goal.
Yeah.
Is everyone fit?
Everyone's fit. No. I'm saying for the purpose of this question, everyone is fit. Who's your starting 11 against Palace? I've written down mine.
Well, I'm going for the same back four as last year with Tomiyasu, White, Gabriel, and Tierney. But
that's 3 different to mine.
Well, this is the thing. What I think it will be White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Zinchenko.
Which is what I've written.
Exactly. Only because Tomiyasu and Tierney's fitness is questionable. And it's an easy, but very solid solution to move Ben White to fullback and put Saliba as centre back. So I don't have any problem with that.
It's a really strong. Either back four there is really strong.
It's fine, yeah, exactly. You're happy with either. It's funny, isn't it? Because not sure White's a great defender, but not necessarily has the prowess going forward.
Hang on, I've just realised I've been plugged in, but the switch isn't on. I've just got to go and switch on. I'm just about to power off. Hang on. I did wonder why the screen was going quite dark. I thought it was dust.
This is what pre-season is for. It's about blowing out the cobwebs and making those mistakes.
Right. Sorry. You were saying.
Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah. Is White as good going forward? But then Tomiyasu's probably not. People prefer his defending to his attacking prowess, whereas on the flip side, Tierney and Zinchenko can kind of do a bit of both.
I think Tierney's his defensive strengths are more apparent than Zinchenko's, perhaps.
I like his leadership as well on the pitch, although Zinchenko's not exactly a shrinking violet.
Is Ukraine captain?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, they're both fine. I think the one you've selected, White, Saliba, Zinchenko with Gabriel, that'll be the back four. Partey and Xhaka, assuming.
Yeah.
No cases pending or anything like that. Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and then Gabriel up front.
Yeah, I think that's
Jesus.
Yeah, that's the starting 11 I've written down.
It's yeah. I mean, on paper, the team sort of picks itself.
So the bench then to see who can come in, and I've written down, I may have missed people out here, but Turner is the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And then Tomiyasu and Tierney, Lokonga, Smith Rowe, Vieira,
Holding,
Cedric, Eddie, Elneny. They're 9. That's 9. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And then the extra 3 I remembered were Nelson, Marquinhos, and Holding.
You say Smith Rowe?
I did, yeah.
You did, yeah. Okay.
So that's 12 subs. Now, we don't know how good Vieira will be in the Premier League right now. So we don't know whether he's a great asset on the bench or not. Let's assume he is for now. You've got Smith Rowe, you've got Eddie. These are the ones who are going to score your goals. Or Marquinhos, I have no idea. I mean, I think possibly a loan move for him, maybe. But not if we don't buy another kind of source of goals, perhaps.
And he's got lots of countrymen around him to help him settle. There will be cup games, be it Europa or League Cup, where he could feature.
Yeah, we've also got some of the kids like Patino, in particular, and the guy. I can't remember his name now. He played a couple of games in pre-season at fullback. I can't remember his name. Walter, I think was his first name. And there's another. Oh, then I don't know where Norton. Is it Norton Cuffley, the guy who was Crofton or whatever his name is, the guy who was at Lincoln last year from right back. I don't know if he's gone out on loan again or not. I haven't seen his name mentioned. I still think that squad's a bit short.
It is a bit short, but it also feels a little bit stronger than last season.
Oh, no doubt. There's no question.
And it's that thing, isn't it? What I like about the transfer business over the last couple of years is that where it is building, it's not about overextending. It's not. There is an element of it would be nice if we can get things short term, but there's a sort of reasonable attitude that actually these things take time and evolution. So, as long as there is improvements, then that's the best we can hope for.
If you think about like last year's injury issues that cost us, Tomiyasu injured. Well, now we've got White can cover there straight away because Saliba's there covering him. Okay, so that's a yes, and then absolutely. So that's a much stronger backup than Holding and then Cedric, right? Tierney, we've now got Zinchenko instead of Tavares.
That's massive.
There's no contest there. That's like right. So and Partey's still the odd one because that's just where I think the first gap in their squad is. There is no Partey replacement. There's nobody that can do what Partey does. Break the press, turn, tight space, forward pass, link up. That kind of. Xhaka's too slow at doing that. I don't know enough about whether Tielemans is that kind of player or not. I genuinely don't know. I have heard people say that he is quite slow himself, but he is more of a Xhaka player. He does what Xhaka does, but better.
Right.
Lokonga, I'm pretty confident, is earmarked as the Partey replacement ultimately long term. But that's a lot to put on him now. So I think that's the first of our issues there, right? Then we've got Ødegaard, who I think is a great choice as captain. All on board with that. I've said to you last season that for me, he's the one player in that team that would fit seamlessly into a peak Wenger team. I just love I just think he's brilliant, and I think his character is there as well. And again, he's his national team captain as well. We've got quite a lot of characters in the team all of a sudden.
Tierney, Zinchenko, Ødegaard, what I like about Ødegaard, it never hides.
No.
Work rate is,
phenomenal.
Phenomenal, yeah, and is also clean cut boy next door type.
Well, he lives not far from where I live, and I know people who know him, but they know him to see rather than know him. They don't know him. But they're like, he's just they walk past him, and someone will say to them, "Oh, that's an Arsenal player," and they're like, "What?" But that's just like a bloke, like a normal down to earth guy. I don't know what they expect to see. An entourage or something. I don't know, but he is your clean cut 23-year-old. And I think that we're going to be so hard to play against this season because of that energy up front. I think that really is it moves the game so much further forward for us. And I think that's going to be the biggest difference in this, the kind of the way games maybe play out. I think Arteta said he was, when we're winning 1-0, like the best way to deal with that scenario is to go and score a second goal or another goal, not to defend it. But we didn't have the players to do that. We didn't have the capacity to do that, whereas now we do. That's one of the things he was looking at. So Saka gets injured. We're missing definitely there. I mean, Smith Rowe comes in possibly, but Pepe comes in possibly. Jesus can play there as well, and we're getting Nketiah in up front. So we have got cover, but you're going to have a drop off in output from Saka, but that's fine. You have a drop off in any world class player on whatever team you're in. De Bruyne gets injured for Man City, they miss something. It's simple as that. Salah gets injured for Liverpool, they miss something. It's like it's what you live with the best players. But Jesus then as a striker, I think that's the other. I just think that Saka or Jesus, you want another player who can deliver and make any injury or loss of those two less kind of terminal. So I think they're the two areas. I mean, that's a lot of money,
but then we've got to hope that Martinelli's output increases, that there are more goals and assists in his game.
I think it's a big season for him.
Yeah, it is a big season. Yeah, I think he does need to contribute more with those
End
kind
products,
of stats. Yeah, we love what he does on the pitch and the, like you say, energy and enthusiasm that he brings, but it's got to finish. It's got to start.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I hope he does because and again, just seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, seems so
level-headed. Just it's like this team is so likable. It's like you can just get on board with them so easily without.
I think that plays into, why we're seeing an increase. Why our supporters club is going to be bringing coaches, because it's a team that's just easy to like and support.
With lots of promise, lots of potential. That's
still very young. Still so young.
Yes. I mean, what's Jesus? Is he 25?
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. His best years are ahead of him, and he's already got 4 Premier League titles. It's like
madness.
Zinchenko's 25 as well. And so a team that can grow together for sure. So I'd like to see a midfielder and another striker, or that kind of right-sided goal threat, because Jesus has got that versatility and that flexibility. He has actually told his Brazil coach that he prefers to play from the right, so not through the middle, which is interesting. Which tells you that Eddie could, because Saka can play on the left and Eddie can play through the middle. We've got like such flexibility up there. I think Smith Rowe needs a clean bill of health. He's not trained a lot pre-season. He's not featured a lot pre-season because he's still carrying that injury that he was clearly carrying the back end of last season, though
he looked exhausted.
Yeah, he did. And I just hope, because I think obviously you don't give the number 10 shirt to just anybody. Well, you do if you're William Gallas, I guess. But you shouldn't give the number 10 shirt to just anybody.
You demand it, yeah.
So yes, that's good. So I'd still like to see 2 more purchases to make that window. I think we've got another great opportunity, but if we don't sign another player, I think it's potentially another missed opportunity. Man United could look like anything this season. Chelsea, I have no idea. They seem to have no rhyme nor reason. They seem to be looking at who Arsenal or Man United are going for, and then they try and jump in and buy those players. I said today they've just agreed that Villa kid, £20 million purchase for that Villa kid, who does, by all accounts, sound like a great player. I've never seen him play. I couldn't tell you.
Is this not Jacob Ramsey?
No. It's this kid who was refusing to sign a contract.
Oh, right.
Is it Chuck? I don't know. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
So they've agreed a deal with him today. They look like they're interested in they're taking the Brighton fullback off Man City, Cucurella, and they're looking at Frankie De Jong now as well, from Barca. So I mean, these are all good players, but it just seems like a very random Can Tuchel get them all together? May well do. I don't know. Liverpool and City have gone in the distance. That's fine.
But Chelsea could also lose Azpilicueta and
Alonso. Yeah, absolutely. And
Christensen's gone.
And Rudiger's gone.
Rudiger's gone. That's it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Chelsea's So Spurs, interesting.
What do you make of our interest in Werner? Timo?
No.
I was so surprised when I read.
No, the fans love him at Chelsea because of his effort and energy and so on. But I want someone with end products. You know, he seems really.
I want someone different. I don't think he gives us anything different to what we've got. Only actually with just as little output as anyone else, really.
He seems like a nice guy. Like he's not a Chelsea player I look at and think I want to kill. He seems like a decent bloke. So, you know, I've got nothing against him on a personal level. I just don't want him. No. I don't want to buy. I never want to buy another player off Chelsea. Simple as. Of course, they've got Raheem Sterling as well, who would have been really good for a similar price to. I wonder if we'd got into the Champions League, would he have come to us and would we have been interested? Because Arteta works a lot with him. And I wonder, is that one casualty of not finishing fourth?
So why would Jesus come to us then?
Less ambitious than Sterling?
I don't know. Is it the Brazilian connection? Did he work very closely with Arteta?
Well, apparently he did, but it was the Edu connection. Edu with the Brazil national team as well. For years, they've been, Edu's been his like big brother, if you like, or father figure in the Brazil national team from the age of 18, 19. He's been in and around that squad. When Edu was actually that director of whatever it was role he had for the Brazil national team. So I think there was a lot there in already. But Sterling, it's well known, Sterling credits Arteta with improving his goal output at Man City. It's just really, like Pep said, you focus on him, you get him, delivering as his talent should dictate. I know Sterling's from West London as well, and it might well be that he wanted to, get back closer to home and so on. I don't know. He seems a very grounded kid as well, Sterling. That may well be a factor for him. He left West London very young, didn't he? QPR to Liverpool. So I mean, I don't know. So Spurs is an interesting one. They worry me, but then I then reassure myself that they'll do their usual.
What I find funny about Spurs is I feel like they've made quite good, sensible signings, but they're not the signings I would have expected of a team that have just got in the Champions League again. Bissouma is good. Jed's, is it Spence that they got?
Yeah, he won't start. He's not a first 11 starter, but he's another kind of future-proof one.
Yeah, and then but then Perisic, I don't really get that one. Do they need a new keeper? I mean,
Richarlison. They've got the keeper from Southampton. What's his name?
Forster.
Yeah,
but he's a tackle.
Yeah,
but even then, like Lloris had moments last season where you thought, well, hang on a minute, they could.
Oh yeah, they need they need an upgrade on keeper for sure. But they've got this Lenglet guy on loan from Barcelona, the centre back, who's bombed at Barcelona. But before that, he was really good.
Yeah,
Barcelona spent a lot of money on it. So
Barcelona can do that to players.
Yeah, he could be hit or miss. You never know. Well, look, we've got Ødegaard from Real Madrid. It's in a similar fashion. But and Richarlison's a weird one. I mean that I didn't think it was possible for that club to become any more disliked, but buying Richarlison has kind of achieved that. They've got the three most diviest players in the Premier League. The front three, Kulusevski, I'm not counting there, but Kane, Son, and Richarlison. See,
I think that Kulusevski is quite good.
Yes,
Richarlison is. on his day he can be brilliant, and then on his day he can be
But he's got a bad attitude, hasn't he?
let
He's
the
like-
team down. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's very bizarre. They just, I just.
But
don't
they're
know.
not going to spend 60 million quid on a player and not start him, and that could
You
upset that could upset that front three. And Richarlison will go there and want to be the main man, like he's like.
But he won't be.
Brazil-
Kane and Son are
No,
the main.
for sure, and Son even more so than Kane at the moment.
Yeah.
Because Son without penalties was shared the golden boot with Salah, didn't he? Last season.
So are we basically saying that top four is possible, but we might need,
Yes, no,
a
absolutely.
lot of luck to go our way?
Because you don't know about Man United, but they're going to spend a lot of money still.
Yeah.
But they could have a new manager by November. At the same time, you just don't know. Chelsea, I think they've got a decent manager, so I think whatever players they get, he'll forge a decent team there. Although they did nosedive back in the last season, so you don't know what's going on there. And I know it's a different regime, but that might make things even worse.
Who's the striker that's going to get them a lot of goals?
Well, yeah. Newcastle, they seem to be ridiculous, worryingly sensible in how they're going about their business. But I think top four's a stretch for them this season. I think the following season possibly. So I think third is the best Arsenal can hope for. But I think we've got to be careful about not getting in at all. I think just those two positions, those two player. Bearing in mind Tielemans would fill one of those possibly, but I don't know who he plays instead of. I think he plays instead of Xhaka, and Xhaka has actually played really well recently. But again, I don't care about that. You can't have too many good players. It's like
No, it's a squad game, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
about those options when we need them.
And someone said, I think it was Arteta said, you can see already the raised level in training just because Jesus is there.
Yeah.
So he's lifting everybody.
Yeah.
What's that saying? I've lost it now. A rising tide lifts all ships, or something like that.
Yeah.
Was it? And I think that's, it's like, if you're not up for the fight, see ya, goodbye. Good luck. But like Eddie, up for the fight, which is what I like. I want him to do well. I really do. He's an Arsenal supporter as a kid, and I really want him to do well. And he did that interview on that YouTube channel before, and I thought, yeah, he's human. He's nice. It's hurt him. His lack of playing time has really hurt him and affected him personally. And I thought, I never thought of that. They didn't factor that. And I thought, yeah, good on you. And so he decided, I'm going to fight for it. I realise I'm at the place I want to be, the best place I can possibly be. I need to make this work, no regrets, etc. So I think that's only to be admired. Yeah.
Do you think that the emphasis on top four is shifting slightly, or the way it's perceived is? Obviously, everyone wants to be in the Champions League. It's the premier competition. It's Europe's best of the best. But I'm just wondering if the impact of it, economically mainly, is as big a deal as it used to be, because I don't think it makes or breaks. Man United are going to spend money wherever they finish.
Yeah.
Chelsea are going to spend money wherever they finish.
But
I know it attracts players.
Yes, they won't get the players, and it economically doesn't. For a Premier League team, you're right. The maths maybe is less because there's vast TV money, but the players want the glory of the Champions League.
But that's what I mean. But just thinking, I think, you mentioned Newcastle, and that's what triggered this sort of thought in my brain, that there'll be players going there who know that because of their spending power, they probably will be in the Champions League in a couple of years. And I suppose it's the club in some way, Arsenal and Arteta and Edu or whoever it is behind the scenes, must have sold something to the likes of Jesus and Zinchenko to climb aboard this ship and see where it sort of ends up, really. So it's as much a marketing thing about where you're going, where you're striving to be, as much as where you end up at the end of the season. So I'm just wondering if, of course, top four is what we want. I think we can get in the top four, but it will depend on how others probably function as well if we don't sign any more players. or we don't get that good start like that we need as a foundation to get there. But actually, would finishing 5th or 6th be the end of the world? Either.
Right. Okay. That's a nice little opportunity for me to segue into this text I received from
Okay.
my mate. He said, I'm just looking at the fixtures, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He said 15 points by the end of August or Arteta out.
Oh, shut up. Like, I mean, the Arteta out thing is just a nonsense. And so who are those games? Those games
Right,
are
okay, I've got them in front of me. Palace away, Leicester home, Bournemouth away, Fulham home, Villa home. I think we should get 15 points. I think we could get 15 points. I think the hardest one is the first one.
To me, I mean, we could win all those games. You know, the home games, Leicester, Fulham, and who's the other one?
Villa.
Yeah, they're doable. Law of averages tells me that we don't get 15 points from those. You know, just historical form and all those sorts of things. But we could. I mean, the Arteta out thing is just a nonsense.
Yes.
I just think if we're buying into the building that we're doing, the squad building, and the evolution that change is going under, the idea of us chopping and changing manager just to me smacks of nonsense. I don't want to buy into all that. I want time to be done. Look, let's look at it at the end of the season. I'm not above that, but I think there's enough credit in the bank to do that.
Okay, so we finish 5th or 6th next season. What happens to Arteta in the summer?
Yeah, that I don't know.
Could you argue against him?
If we finish 5th or 6th, I don't know. It's an unhappy middle ground. If we finish below 6th, I think it might be actually we look elsewhere. If we finish in the top 4, he's earned his means to go on. 5th or 6th is a funny one, isn't it? Because
5th or 6th and an FA Cup win. So not Champions League.
Oh, he wins a cup, he stays.
League Cup?
Huh?
League
Cup. Yeah, any cup. He wins a cup, he stays. To me, because you're winning, you're breeding winning. It's no, I don't think it's any coincidence that Guardiola basically locked down the League Cup for however many years it was, and Mourinho put that emphasis on it when he started. He wanted his team to win something as soon as possible, so that they knew what winning felt like, and so they chased that feeling again and again. So if we had a League Cup run and won the League Cup, but finish 5th or 6th, you'd hope that would create a platform for the following season.
And also, I don't know, is it next season or the season after? But there's a 5th spot is going to the Champions League in the Premier League,
right?
So it does open up another kind of eases that valve a little bit, especially with Newcastle kicking around. But there are 6 teams who have realistic claims on the top 4 spots.
Yeah.
So 2 are always going to be disappointed and have a sense of failure. West Ham have made some decent purchases as well. This Italian striker
I don't know enough about this Italian striker, but I saw it. Yeah.
Well, he's like 6'5", but he's got pace, power, skill.
At the end of the day, they needed just any backup to Antonio, because Antonio's great, but he can't do it on his own. And the fact that they were resting him in certain games to try and bolster their Europa League kind of said it all. Really.
So there's other teams that are like kind of just level below that. Villa had spent a bit of money at the start of the transfer window. Don't ask me who now. I cannot remember. There was one midfielder I was surprised. Bukhara. Anyway, I can't remember his name. And who else is up? Who else was close? Wolves. I don't know much about Wolves. But
I did read that Jimenez is probably injured at the start of the season.
Right.
Might not feature.
So our first 5 games, for the first time in I think 20 years, someone said we're not up against any of the top 6. bearing in mind we played 2 of them by game 3 last season.
Yeah. No.
It really does. And momentum, you talk about momentum a lot.
It's massive.
It's these 5 games are before the end of the transfer window.
Yeah.
Like the flip side is if we don't get 15 points, if we got 10 points, there'll be rumblings because that means we'll have dropped points in at least 2 of those games. So,
but Palace is a difficult place to go. Opening day of the season, anything can happen. You can be caught cold. Just who knows?
I like the fact that they'll be up for it and they'll think they can beat us. I
Yeah.
like that. I think that play into our hands a little bit as
You
well.
think?
Yeah.
But it could also create nerves in us because actually, we've played pre-season, and as much as it was fun to beat Chelsea and Sevilla didn't look like any great shakes at all, and Chelsea, it's pre-season. Tuchel can say that he questions their mentality and this, that, and the other, but he'll know that that's the right thing to say to the press. He'll say to his players, pre-season, no one cares. We're getting our fitness. It'll matter on Saturday or Sunday whenever they play their first game. And it's the same for us. We could go into this Palace game all, full of ourselves. And then when Palace create a lot more resistance, we think, actually, this isn't as good as we thought it was.
Well, I'm hoping that lessons learned from Brentford's away last season,
So
that we won't have that complacency.
I hope I get in the ground before the start.
Before Palace's first goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so those 5 games then, give me a happy tally for you. Because if I told you, like at various points throughout the season, right, our next game is, and I'd listed any one of those 5 games.
Put it this way, I want to win 3 home games.
As a one-off, you'd expect us to win each of those games as a one-off.
Probably, yes. But I know that we consistently drop points away at Palace. And who's the other away game?
Bournemouth. 5:30 on Saturday, the 20th of August.
Yeah, I'm going to that as well.
Oh, you got, wow. That's a small few getting into that ground.
I've been there before. It's great. It's funny when you walk up to the stadium. For me, I don't know why, and this is not to put it down at all. It is what it is. I like the fact when Bournemouth got into the Premier League, they didn't invest in a bigger stadium to try and squeeze money out of their fans. They invested in the team and just upgraded, what they needed to. But you do walk up to it and think, is this a garden centre? It's got that kind of corrugated sheet metal on the outside and it's only 1 tier, so it just doesn't look. It looks like a little warehouse, but it's great. It's a great atmosphere. Could we drop points there?
And we have dropped points there before.
So, to me, 15 would be amazing. 11 would be par.
So 11 would mean a draw. 11 would mean. So 11 would be a draw and a defeat. So we're losing to Palace and drawing against Bournemouth, and you're not going to another away game.
Yeah, maybe. Except I'm signed up for United at early Man United.
That's not even funny.
Early September as well. And I'm not pulling out of that one. I haven't been to United for a long time.
Well, you better hope that we beat Palace and Bournemouth then.
I'll go in letting you go.
Yeah.
Is 11 par? Maybe 13's par. And then 11 or even 9.
Yeah, 13. Sorry, we cannot fail to win more than one of those 5 games and have ambitions of top 4.
Yeah, but I'm a pessimist. So
am I.
Do you know what's really funny is I'm sure there's lots of people out there with podcasts or YouTube channels and this, that, and the other, and they're doing that classic football fan thing where it's the start of the season and they're going, right, we're going to win it all. The signings are brilliant. We've got rid of the deadwood and we're going to win it all. And there's us two going, 11 points, maybe 13.
See, I think I think 15 points is par for those games. I think the big question mark is the Palace game. I think
That's harsh.
that's
I
the
don't think
hard.
anyone. Do you know what? I'm going to stick my neck out. I don't think anyone gets to that equivalent fixture without dropping points. I'm not even sure Man City or Liverpool will get to that date without dropping points of some.
Right. Okay, but let me ask you this though. Do you think Man City won't get 15 points from those 5 games?
But it depends. Those 5 games will come up at different times.
Yeah, no. But so that's what I'm saying. Take each game on
not
its
the
own
same
merits,
thing.
and we're winning each of those games. If I say to you, okay, we're playing Bournemouth away this weekend, do you think we should win that game?
Yeah, but
you'll say yes.
Yeah, but that's not how football works. Like if I take if I take it on paper, the only teams that we should in inverted commas lose to Man City, Liverpool, and then everything else. You know, there's the
Chelsea
Tottenham,
away,
Chelsea,
maybe.
Man United are all question marks, possible draws, and then we should beat everyone else. But it doesn't work like that. Because we'll get a draw against Spurs. In fact, what usually happens with Spurs is we win at our place and they win at their place, to be honest. And when United will draw both games, probably. Chelsea, again, probably they'll beat us at our place, but we could beat them at their place. But then we'll have that random one. We'll lose on a rainy Wednesday night to Bournemouth. Away at their place, or we'll put in a subpar performance against Newcastle. There'll be those random games that come. I just have no idea.
So the Liverpool's first 5 games:
Right.
Fulham away,
They'll win.
okay, promoted team. Palace home,
They'll win.
United away.
I have no idea. I'm really hoping, and it's that classic tribalism. I really hope Man United are a shambles.
Oh yeah, no, obviously I'm on that.
As much as I'd obviously like to see more of a title race, but it will be Man City and Liverpool duking it out. But I don't know why. There was even reports. I read something earlier about how a lot of the Dutch players hope that Ten Hag is a success in England, so that he doesn't come back. Because they said he's just the most, as good as he is, he's so boring, or something along those lines. And I just don't know. They just feel United look like a basket case of a club. The money they're spending, and that Martinez looks like after you mentioned him, from what I read and saw,
Yeah, good player.
He looks fine,
But not as a centre back.
They still. You look at that squad and think that is all over the place.
Okay, so that's United away, then Bournemouth at home and Newcastle at home.
Well, they'll win both of those.
So
Newcastle could throw a spanner in the works, maybe here and there.
So Liverpool, you're saying will win those 5 games?
I'm not saying they'll win. There might be a draw in there somewhere.
Where? United away?
No, I think it's more likely the Newcastle game.
At Anfield, okay.
No, if it's at Anfield, no.
Anfield.
They're locking down. They win at Anfield, or at least I'm going to predict the win at Anfield.
Okay, so Man City's first 5 games:
Yeah, go on.
West Ham away,
Ooh, banana skin.
I think they'll bore them to death and win 2-3-0.
Yeah, maybe.
Bournemouth at home,
Oh, they'll beat Bournemouth.
Newcastle away. I think they'll do the same.
Who are City's bogey sides? Oh, Spurs, isn't it?
Spurs, really.
Wolves. Yeah.
So Newcastle away, then Palace at home and Forest at home.
Well, they'll beat both of those.
So West Ham away and Newcastle away.
Again, maybe there's a draw in there, but
they've got a harder 5 fixtures than we have.
Yeah. So
I'm just using you, like you're saying that no team will get to that point, the first 5 games with 15 points. Do you want Spurs' first 5 games? Because why not?
Okay.
Southampton at home.
They'll win.
Chelsea away.
Ooh, who knows? Chelsea are going to be a real enigma because with no Lukaku, Havertz, is he going to be the striker? Werner?
Yeah, at the moment. Sterling.
But he's more of a wide forward. Ziyech,
Yeah.
has he been moved on yet?
I think so. He's
They've
gone.
got a lot of players. Pulisic, Mount. I mean, that'll be a feisty game. I'll be watching that.
Yeah, it's 4:30 kickoff on Sunday, the 14th of August.
Yeah, that'll be worth a watch. That.
Then they've got Wolves at home,
They'll win.
Forest away.
I hope Forest do throw in a few spanners here and there, but I don't know. I can see Spurs winning that.
And West Ham away.
That's one they always seem to can go either way. They could draw that easily.
They've
Kane will
got a
score
hard,
against Forest because he hasn't in the league yet.
they've got a hard 5 games there.
That is tricky.
Southampton at home is their gimme. Then Chelsea away, Wolves home, Forest away, West Ham away. That's hard.
I mean, I hope they lose them all, but I'm not sure.
The last one now I'll do because I just want to see. I had a little chat with the friends and we talked about who we thought the first managerial sacking could be. And we came up with, who do you think the first managerial casualty could be, Premier League?
Well, it's interesting because I'm so surprised by Leicester selling Michael that I wonder about Rodgers.
Yeah, I said Rodgers as well.
He's not necessarily been backed. Madison's being poached now.
Yeah.
Tillemans, question mark.
Tillemans,
Fofana as well, although Leicester has said Fofana's going nowhere. Yeah, he could be sort of undermined by what's going on around him and then not do very well and could go. So
I thought so. I put down Brendan Rodgers. Then I also suggested maybe Jesse Marsh at Leeds. You just don't know how they'd start the season.
Leeds would be one of my tips to go down. I think.
Yeah,
you can't lose players like Calvert-Lewin and Rafinha and expect to hit.
Not Calvert-Lewin, Calvin Phillips.
Phillips. Sorry.
Yeah. Then I thought maybe
Lampard
at Everton. Yeah. Really would love it, but they have bought Dwight McNeil and the other Burnley centre half.
Me.
But yeah, is it Ben Mee or Tarkovsky? I can't remember which one they've got.
They're rubbish. They're so rubbish.
So
their
Lampard
policy is like a lesser Man United.
So Lampard
just all over the shop.
But the one I think would cheer me more than all of the others would be Ten Hag. Just means that they will be so. But so Man United's opening 5 games, although for some reason there's only 4 in August. So Brighton at home.
Brighton will make it difficult, but they'll probably edge it.
Brentford away.
Flip a coin. Brentford could start the season well.
And then it's Liverpool at home.
They'll probably lose.
Southampton away.
They'll probably win.
And then Leicester away.
Do you know Southampton? I mean, Hassan Hüttl.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's no
they swing
expectancy
both ways,
there.
don't they?
There's no expectancy there. I think that's what might save him.
Yeah.
Whereas Lampard has the expectancy on his shoulders. Ten Hag absolutely does. Rodgers may have bought a bit of time, perhaps. I don't know. Then their 5th game is Leicester away, and then their 6th game is us at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
He could get sacked I hope you're singing. You're going to get sacked in the morning. Not at Arteta. I
no.
want to clarify that. Right, go on then. Nail your colours to the mast. Successful season. What do you think will happen? Off you go.
Successful season is top 4 and a cup run. It would be interesting, like you say. We finish 5th or 6th. Could depend on whether we win a cup or have a good cup run or not, and will depend on what promises there are moving forward, what shifts can be made. Unsuccessful season is below 6th, definitely. or even the manner with which we don't make the top four. Should we not make the top four? I don't know.
And I think those one or two more players remove any excuse.
Mm.
You know, and then it is all on Arteta after that. You know, every team gets injuries and so on, but we're kind of legislating.
Contextually, though, there's the big elephant in the room, which is the World Cup disrupting the season
for everybody.
For everybody, and that's the thing. I know everyone's got to contend with it, but it's bound to affect some teams more than others.
It depends on form going into it. If we're on a run of 4 wins in a row and then it's World Cup, then we'll be gutted. But if we've lost the last game before the World Cup, we'll be thinking, yeah, good.
Yeah, but then if we lose 3 or 4 players through injury, and it's going to be so unreal.
I need to have a look and see what players. Bizarre. I don't even know what players we've got at the World Cup. So,
well, it'll be enough to, worry. Gabriel Jesus will be there with Brazil. Saka will be there with England.
Well,
Martinelli, if his form is good, will be.
Gabriel, centre back, will be there with Brazil.
Exactly.
Ukraine are there, aren't they? So Zinchenko will be there.
Yeah, Ramsdale will be with the England squad, you would have thought.
But won't play.
But might not feature, yeah. So we're bound to be affected. Apartheid's Ghana got there, didn't they, in the end?
Yes. Switzerland there? No?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. So, that's going to be...
And what's your prediction for Friday? In terms of results, not that you're going to have a good time.
Well, I'm going to have a good time until I don't. I don't know. I can't get last year out of my head. Brentford was so poor. And I don't know why. I'm the sort of person that when things are going well, I assume something bad is just around the corner. So pre-season has gone so well, I'm assuming that it will be a 1-1 draw. But I hope it's not. I hope we hit the ground running, we shock them, and we're 2-0 up after about 15 minutes, and then it's kind of just an exercise in seeing the game out.
We're going to win 4-1.
Are we?
Okay, well, I'm not putting any money on that.
So you're not that confident?
No.
But you think we'll start well?
I think we'll win.
Okay.
More because I think we have to.
They was it 2 lucky draws against Palace last season? No, it was 1 lucky draw.
They beat us.
And 1 absolute no-show, wasn't it?
They at their ground, they battered us. And we drew with them, we equalised against them in the 94th minute with Lacazette at the Emirates. It's a game I thought we'd actually lost because I left early.
No.
And I didn't hear a cheer from the ground it was only in the car. We were about 10 minutes into the car journey home. And I just asked Indigo to read the BBC match report to me. And she said, it finished 2-2. I'm like, call myself a supporter. Anyway, right, look, that's an hour and 18 minutes, mate. We're supposed to do a short one today. That's the longest one. So what I'll do is I'll say I really hope you have a fantastic Friday evening.
Come on.
Have you bought the black away kit? It does look good, I must admit.
Put it this way, that black kit is one of the best kits we've had in years.
Yeah.
70 quid?
Oh, is it really?
70 quid? Honestly, what? We are mugs for paying it.
So you've bought it?
No, God no. That'll be on the birthday list.
Yeah.
But that's not till October, so I'm just going to be going without. I quite like the home kit. I like a collar. I'm
not a fan of the collar, so the black away kit actually. Collar. I'm not going to buy the kit anyway. I've never bought a modern kit.
It's an easy win when people ask me, "Oh, do you want anything for your birthday?" I'm like, go on then. But it's getting so expensive now. I'm going to have like people
contribute to it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's crazy.
The shirt fund.
70 quid. It's a t-shirt.
Anyway, right. Best of luck on Friday. I hope you have a great time. I'm going to end the broadcast now.
Cool.
Cheers.
Take
See you
care.
next week.
Bye.